Congressman Jim Himes with us here this morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Tony. Melissa, thank you so much for doing this commemoration. It's painful for a lot of us who have shown up in person in Bridgeport every single year to stand with the families and the brothers and sisters of the labor movement and the priests who were there and the journalists who were there. It's just so painful not to be able to do that again. That was always such an amazing moment. So you guys are really wonderful to help us commemorate what happened so many decades ago and to do it in the safe way that we know we need to do these things now. But, thank you for not letting the memory of those 28 people and what we learned, what Senator Blumenthal was talking about, what we learned. Thank you for not letting that memory fade.
Absolutely. It's something that should be remembered 100 years from now. We still should be doing this in some shape or form. Congressman, do you remember where you were when all this was happening?
I was. I think I may have been distracted by other things like college. But obviously this was devastating for our community. But the shockwaves, I certainly remember. It was a national story. It was a national story because of the loss of life, which is not anything we ever anticipate in this country. We think that we've got the safety standards. We think that that's the kind of thing that doesn't happen, as Dick Blumenthal was saying, in the United States. But it did, and it was a national story. And it was, it's a little bit, I can't help reflect that it's a little bit like where we are now in the sense that, my gosh, I mean, in the state of Connecticut, we're a small state and, we've lost over 1,200 people of our fellow citizens to this COVID thing. And as horrible as it is, the other thing I'm sure people remember from 33 years ago was how much people came together, people that might not have given a thought to each other. Just that guy down the street or, that worker that I see every once in a while or whatever, we came together in a way that it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. And it's one of the silver linings of where we are today. As awful as the loss of life and the tragedy and the economic pain that we're all experiencing, whenever that happens to us, as it happened 33 years ago, my gosh, we come together. We come together to support each other, to remember what's important, and to help each other out. And it's I have a little bit of that same feeling today, given what's happening, that I know we all experienced, not just at L'Ambiance decades ago, but after 9/11 and after all the other tragedies that have affected our country.
Congressman, in the beginning of our show, we were actually playing a little bit of audio from John Pendergrass, who was the Assistant Secretary of OSHA at the time when this all happened. He had done a press conference about 6 months after the collapse happened, and he really points the finger at, like I said, that this could have been avoided, that this was something where it came down to a lift, how much concrete or how much was being poured out that day and the pressure of it all, and that not only could this have been avoided because there was an issue, but that it actually had failed. This lift had failed a couple of times before L'Ambiance Plaza went down. It's been 33 years. I mean, has OSHA found that we are doing better when it comes to protecting our construction workers? Are we seeing less deaths? Are we seeing less of these accidents happening?
Well, I think if you look at the big sweep of time, Melissa, I mean, go back 33 years, go back 50 years. I overheard you say, all those guys sitting on the girder on that skyscraper in New York City probably 100 years ago. Needless to say, that would never happen today. And so in the broad sweep of time, yeah, we do better. We learn more. We have safer materials and safer procedures. After L'Ambiance, finally, way too late, that building procedure was no longer permitted. What's troubling, though, is that we could do so much better. We could do so much better. We could be better prepared. We could actually think about safety at times other than when a tragedy forces us to do so. And again, I'm sort of drawn to the parallels to where we are today. We could think about preparation. We could think about safety procedures and regulation, not as something that's a big pain in the neck and we need to take it away and get rid of all the regulation because that's what makes jobs in the economy. No, those regulations are there to keep people alive, to make sure that 28 people who had every right to come home to their families that night decades ago can do so. And, this is a moment where I want to thank our brothers and sisters in the unions. Day in and day out, they fight not just for the economic well-being of their membership and of workers everywhere. They fight for safety, and they get pushback and they get, efforts to make the unions go away. But, let's remember who's really doing the work to not just create, economic decency for our hardworking men and women, but the basic safety that means and your family knows that you're coming home. You're coming home tonight.
Very important. Congressman Himes, we thank you for taking a few moments, and thank you so much for being here this morning. It means a lot.
Thank you so much, Tony and Melissa. It's really a wonderful thing of you guys to step in when we can't do what we've done every year and come together to grieve. So thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Congressman Jim Himes here on WICC.